Going to a football match in the middle of pandemic feels like an undergoing endurance test in a reality TV show. A pre-match message instructs me to arrive at Hampden Park in Glasgow 3 hours before Scotland kick off against the Republic. I must wear a mask at all times. I must take in all food from my micro bag into a plastic bag provided by the stadium, and all the catering outlets will be shut. So no fancy burgers or cartoons of flat Pepsi to keep me going. When I immediately turn up to the stadium 3 hours early, the crowds are predictably sparse. The pub outside the ground overflow with support uh, wrapped in Scotland flag looked like a territory. But when I suggest to a steward that might go get a drink ahead of the game, a look of concern crosses her kindly face. Be careful which pub you go into, she said. They will see you coming. What is she referring to? Could it be the lunchbook bag A4 that I'm clutching? I have given my spare ticket to a rear Scot, my friend Alastair, but he's from Edinburgh, so also now 100% at home in Glasgow. We decide to take the office spice and skip the pub. Inside the stadium, we encounter a fan in the loudest tartan suit I've ever seen, including a tiny tartan cloth bag. I pose for a photo with him and he tells me I had it tailor-made, son. It fits me like a glove. It is not just COVID regulation that make this unique and peculiar FIFA tournament. Euro 2020, as UEFA still insists on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. National football team are a symbol of the nation, but that is not a straightforward task at a time when national identity is so fiercely contested. The pressing issue for Scotland it is independence, for England it is race. English football team has decided to take the knee before matches as a protest against racism, but each time they do it, they are booed by a significant section of their own supporters. Even the government seems uncertain about how to respond. After hesitating for a while, Boris Johnson, Prime Minister, condemned the booing and urged fans to get behind the team. But two members of his cabinet, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Preet Patel, defended the protest. Because, defended the protest, with Rees-Mogg suggesting that the protesters are not expressing racism but condemning the Marxist Black Lives Matter movement. Patel, avoiding some security, accused the player of indulging in gesturing politics. Players from the England team, whose pre-game press conferences are normally confined to discussing tactics, injuries, and the atmosphere inside the camp, and now being asked to react home security. It would be natural to assume that cabinet ministers are better at politics than footballers, but the Johnson government has reason to be worried of the clashing with the England team. Last year, it went down to an economic stiff when it took a Marcus Rashford over the extension of free school meals for poor families. The Manchester United and England forward mobilized a million signatures behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to change tack. The 23-year-old Rashford preparation for Euro 2020, as the UEFA still is calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. Uh, culture war. Both the Johnson government to change them. Last year, went down to an economic when it took a Marcus Rashford over the extension of free school meal for poor families. The Manchester United and England forward mobilized a million signatures behind the petition and forced the Johnson government to change tack. The 23-year-old Rashford preparation for Euro 2020 included a Zoom call with Barack Obama. While plenty of tourists are prepared to grumble about the work Rashford in private, none are willing to take him in public. The culture wars over football are not just happening in Britain. The multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game. They were also booed by the crowd, though none are willing to take him in public. The culture wars over football are not just happening in Britain. The multiracial Belgian team took the knee in Russia ahead of their opening game. They were also booed by the crowd. Doubtless the Russians also protesting against Marxism. Viktor Orban, Prime Minister of Hungary, one of the host nations for Euro 2020, defended fans who were visiting team that take the knee, saying that Hungarians see the gesture as a provocation. Orban is himself a right-wing provocateur who has become a hero to the Trumpist right in America by issuing frequent warnings about the elderly dangerous Europe being flooded by flooded by flooded by Muslims. But even some moderate conservatives are uncomfortable about footballers taking the knee. One prominent Tory thinker in Britain lamented to me that football used to be in a political space. But now the national team has become a source of division. I can see what it means. This year's tournament inevitably brings back memories of Euro 96. When England also played their games at Wembley, and the whole country did seem to get behind the team in an uncomplicated sort of way. Back then, packed the stadium all joined in the singing of the Lions, football's coming on. Now the stadiums are largely empty and some of the home crowds actually bring the players. But somebody who has been to many England games over the years, I know that the idea that the team was never mixed up with politics or race is an illusion. It is an illusion. Never mixed up is a illusion. England games have always attracted a substantial number of Saudi hooligan and far-right supporters, whose trademark is chant is "No Surrender to IRA." At the last European Football Championship in France in 2016, the ugly tradition of English football hooliganism re-emerged. When I remarked to another fan that I didn't particularly enjoy being caught up in a near riot outside a bar in Marseille, I was told hurriedly, "If you don't like it, you should stay at home and watch the game on television." Football grind in the 1970s, but I saw the most over racing that I ever witnessed in Britain. It was routine to see black players bark by bulls and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. Football ground in the 90s where I most over at the last European Football Championship in France in 2016, the ugly tradition of English football hooliganism re-emerged. When I remarked to another fan that I didn't particularly enjoy being caught up in a new riot outside a bar in Marseille, I was told curtly, "If you don't like it, you should stay at home and watch the game on television." Football ground in the 1970s, where I saw the most when I, football most overt racism that I ever witnessed in Britain. It was routine to see black players bark Bibles and monkey noises. The football authorities and commentators were silent about this for many years. If current nation side feel they want to make a statement about racism, it is hard to accuse them of bringing politics into a political space. But now the national team has become a source of division. Particularly the racial politics, have always been there. The identity issues are rather different for Scotland. Euro 2020, as a real insists on calling it, has also become sucked into the culture wars. The identity issues are rather different for Scotland. Euro 2020 comes as the Scottish government is ramping up demand for a second independent referendum. This is the first major international tournament the team has qualified for since 1998, neatly fitting the narrative of national revival. Arriving in Scotland for the first game of the tournament, I find the local paper full of optimism. In recognition of the enormity of the occasion, the Scottish government has even allowed schools that lesson to allow the kids to watch the game against its lives. As a visiting English fan, I wonder how I feel about all this. I grew up supporting Scotland in big international tournaments. I had little options since England failed to qualify for the World Cup in 1974 and 1978. But British identity was less complicated back then. The anthem played for the Scotland side that lined up to play Brazil in 1974 was God Save the Queen, although the two recordings did not show the Scottish players looking particularly delighted. Today, the crowd and team will be belting out Love Scotland with the stern word that we can still rise now and be the nation again. Be the nation again. When Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1973, there were more than 90,000 people inside Hampden. But today, thanks to COVID, it's a little over 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big time that has been advertised, it feels pretty black and lonely of the stand, even if the Tartan army has been reduced to little more than a couple of battalions. They belt up for Scotland with this stern word that we can still rise up and be the nation again. 아니다. With the Star Wars, when Scotland qualified for the World Cup in 1973, there were more than 90,000 people inside Hampden. But today, thanks to COVID, it's a little over 9,000. Far from the joyous return to the big time that has been advertised, it feels pretty black and lonely in the stand, even if the Tartan army has been reduced to little more than a couple of battalions. They belt out Love Scotland loud enough to drown out conversation. The team start the game with all the expected passion and stream forward. Their captain Andy Robertson can be seen gesturing to his player to calm down. Then the check score and the air sucked out of the stadium. 어,